Friday nights at 9 p.m., it's time to sit back, relax, and play Conspiracy Bingo with Echoplex Media. We've curated the best conspiracy theorists the internet has to offer and turned it into a live bingo game you can play for free with absolutely no prizes but bragging rights. You won't find a live stream like this anywhere else, and that's probably better for everyone else's mental health. Tune in every Friday at 9 p.m. Pacific at twitch.tv/EchoplexMedia and find our full schedule at echoplexmedia.com.
In this world, obsessed with kindness and ethical blindness. So please excuse my sarcastic tone. I'm a bit underwhelmed by the sample shown. Mr. Bistro fraternity guy, you got my asshole, bloodshot eyes. Get drunk and fight every night. Idolize Bradley, belittle women's rights. Homophobic, racist, and don't give a fucking hey. Do you think you can drive a bigger truck? So wear your baseball cap to decide to let everyone know that you're a nice guy. So cool, we're so impressed. Lots of chicks in a barrel chest. Cause you're a real man. Punch for punch, gonna piss in your face while you're passed out drunk. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. She's a nice guy, but all of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. I just can't understand it. But could divine by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, Sherlock! I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, Sherlock! Read into the lyrics, cause everybody gets their just desserts. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first. You're next on the list. Such a nice guy who speaks through his fists. Prick with the pension for messing with heads. A broken nose for dinner and breakfast in bed. Alcoholic, paranoid, and suicidal too. But you'll probably kill her before she gets away from you. Screws in the blue, letting cry. All your friends say that you're a nice guy. Have a drink, this one's on me. Look, you're doing fine, losing to your disease. Comatose, I'll pack your bags. Bury you like cats, ready to gag. I'm a nice guy, you're a nice guy. We're all nice guys, but all of you are assholes. He's a nice guy, she's a nice guy. Hey, Tom Bone's a nice guy. All of you are assholes. Nice guys rule the planets. The public demented. Put a body by deception and lies. Social Darwinism and an overdose of pride. Fuck off, Sherlock! I don't wanna hear it. Fuck off, Sherlock! Read into the lyrics. So let the bloody spill quench your thirst. As long as you remember that nice guys finish first.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Plex. Welcome, podcast listeners. Welcome, live viewers who've stuck around. The upfront hour of this show was great, and you missed that if you're downloading the podcast. So check out twitch.tv/EchoplexMedia. You can check out our live shows 6 nights a week now. Also, check out our other podcasts. We have a couple. We have Local Love. That's a local music show. You can search for that on your podcatcher of choice. Same with Down Ballot. That's a local news show. And we also have the Intellectual Dollar Tree, which is probably exactly what you think it is. I'm producer Dave. You can find me on Grindr, and this is what the people want.
I don't hate the cops. There's a person inside when the truncheon stops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Oh, when the raiders come, who will protect the shops? Don't hate the cops. They're a sensitive bunch if you don't stop throwing your rocks. Snap, crackle, pop is the sound of a taser. Your body drops. Don't hate the cops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Don't hate the cops. Oh, don't hate the cops. Like your local police, 'cause they don't do nothing wrong. Like your local police got rid of the corruption and the racism is gone. They've been keeping the peace, keeping homeless folks out of the parks and malls. Got a cure for your social disease. Follow the law, don't hate the cops. 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 Put your hands above your head and show you're not afraid. I'm the fearless judge that your skin color's gonna get. And if you die before the sun comes up, the paperwork will take forever. Well, it might have worked out a little bit better if you didn't hate the cops. 'Cause they don't do nothing wrong. Don't hate the cops. You can't blame them for just doing their job. Don't hate the cops. Well, you gotta wonder how much would it cost for you to be shot at and stabbed at by maniacs and drunks. Don't hate the cops. 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 Don't hate the cops.
All right, our first story tonight is the saga of Mike Lindell's phone and the FBI. Here's a clip of him on Fox News complaining about his phone and the FBI.
Says, we're FBI. I said, show me your badges. So they show one badge. I said, how about yours? Cause I don't trust anybody. Like, there's bad people. Well, they do that, and they said, what do you want? And says, we need to talk to you. So I pull over.
Wait, he had this conversation with him while he was driving? That doesn't make sense.
Mike Lindell said he initially told those agents he would not surrender his phone because he does not have a computer and runs all of his businesses off of that phone. Lindell.
You can't have my phone. I run my businesses on my phone. Oh man, that's incredibly fucking. You know what? That doesn't surprise me, to be perfectly honest. That Mike Lindell is running his businesses from like only his phone. That he's one of these I only use my phone people. I'm just not even the least bit surprised by that. This is funny though. Like. They took his phone. Like, his version of events seems weird too, because the way he was telling it, he had a whole conversation with the cops or the FBI or whatever while he was driving, and that doesn't seem like things that happen. Does the FBI pull you over? Like, I'm hella confused. His account of events right there is bizarre. I mean, he's a bizarre man, but his account of events there is pretty bizarre. I don't have conversations with people, even like from the passenger seat of a car while somebody's driving or whatever. We kind of pull over or go to a coffee shop or whatever to have a conversation. Anyway, here's more of Mike Lindell talking about the phone saga. This time he's on Real America's Voice, the War Room, that's Steve Bannon's show.
Going to be with at the president, our real president's rally in Ohio on Saturday. I'm going to speak there about this. Now we have a unique opportunity, everybody, to spread the word, get the word out. Maybe, Steve, that just wants that the media would go, hey, Mike, why did they do this to you? Could it be because I have all the evidence and because I want to get
That's
rid
the
of
problem. They were in fact looking for evidence in your phone if they in fact took your phone, as you claim.
voting machines and electronic computers in our elections? I mean, there's a reason they're doing this. I didn't do anything wrong.
Of course you did, but here's the beauty.
Of course you didn't, but here's the, like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, they took my phone because there's evidence in there. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, no love for the FBI around here, right? I mean, the only FBI agents I like are Mulder and Scully, and even those they're problematic. But like, yeah, you have the evidence. You have something they want. That's why they had a whole conversation with you, I guess, while you were driving down the street or something. So here's Mike Lindell talking from his office about this. His office looks a little weird, but here's him talking from his office about his experience with the FBI.
Today, the FBI, you're going to hear this, and you're probably already hearing it in the news. The FBI came after me and took my phone. They surrounded me at a Hardee's. And,
Wait, I thought you had a whole conversation with them while you were driving. Now they surrounded you at a Hardee's? For people on the West Coast, I believe that's Carl's Jr.
I run all my business, everything with. They could have just, what they've done is weaponize the FBI. It's disgusting. I don't have a computer. Everything I do have that phone, everything was on there. And they told me not to tell anybody. Here's an order, don't tell anybody. Okay, I won't. Well, I am.
I don't think it's common for people to get like a don't tell anyone you've been searched or arrested order. I think that's uncommon. Oh man, this guy's so full of shit. I mean, the amount of full of shit this guy is like transcends other people. And we do talk about a lot of people here who are full of, I would say, a lot of shit. Here's more of his discussion with Steve Bannon about, we'll go ahead and call this pillow phone gate.
Some of the best lawyers in the country, Alan Dershowitz, Andrew Parker, Kurt Olson, amongst others. What can we do with what happened with this seizure of my phone? They say FBI corruption, and we are suing, as you're hearing it here first, everybody, we're suing the United States government and the FBI. And this isn't just to get the phone back. This is my first, fourth, and fifth Amendment rights were broken in the constitutional right. And this needs to go everywhere. We're not going to put up with this. We're not going to be the Gestapo like in Nazi Germany. Steve, this is...
I remember when I heard of the stories of the Gestapo in Nazi Germany surrounding people at a Hardee's and asking for their cell phone.
We're being proactive. I was on the phone with these attorneys. I said no.
But how were you on the phone? They took your phone.
We do. We got all the lawyers on the phone. They looked up all these statutes. We're going to go to places where no man has gone before. This will set a precedent. This has to stop. Nobody gets to bash people's door down, and you get 40...
They didn't bash your door down. They, like, surrounded you at a Hardee's, or you had a conversation with them while you were driving.
Seconds to answer your door. Nobody gets to corner and take a phone away of a private citizen, their company phone, so they're... and their hearing aids, everything else. Everything I had was in that phone of all these businesses, My Pillow, My Store, Frank's Speech, passwords to be able to do money wires that I can't do right now. Those aren't in any cloud. I mean, this has got to stop, Steve. And
Tell us you don't know how to use your phone without telling us you have no idea how to use your phone. None of this was in any cloud. He probably just had like all his passwords in like a fucking text file on his fucking iPhone's, like on his iPhone's home screen and shit. Oh my God. Oh man. What a fucking idiot. Like this is amazing. We got one more of him here. This is him at Trump's event, I guess, or somewhere near Trump's event, maybe at the nearest like Four Seasons Gardening Center or some shit. But here's him talking again about his phone.
Okay. My lawyers and I got together the last couple days, and on Tuesday, we're suing the United States government and the FBI.
On Tuesday?
We're suing.
Oddly specific.
Our First Amendment rights, our Fourth Amendment rights, our Fifth Amendment rights, and our Sixth Amendment rights.
On Tuesday, everybody. Check it out. He's going to sue everybody on Tuesday. Because everything he said he was going to do in the past on certain days regarding the law, like legal action and stuff, it's all come to pass. So, of course, we should be ready on Tuesday. That's the day after tomorrow. Because he's going to actually sue the FBI. So now, apparently he was saying he's having a hard time running his business. And here's him talking on his own network, Lindell TV, about how he's having, a rough time running his business, I guess. His employees are afraid.
Well, anyway, what have we become as a nation when you got, like I told him, like My Pillow, employee owned, and they get attacked and have to sit and worry about billion-dollar lawsuits.
Is his company employee owned? I highly doubt his company's employee owned.
They go home, they have families to feed. They're Democrats, liberals, Republicans, conservatives, Hispanic, black, Asian, white. We're all like one big family. And he goes, well, how do your employees take that? I mean, how are they taking it? I said, we're trying to get by. We've lost hundreds of millions of dollars because of cancel culture and you media people attacking.
Because of your behavior?
You attack people, so even judges are afraid to make a ruling. They kick things down the thing to standing, this horrible thing called standing. They just kick the can for standing. But other cases they're pushing through that are so corrupt and so evil, like going after a gal that just does her.
Like, oh man, he's like, I don't like the idea of standing. Well, then I guess your problem was with the entire field of law, because like for a civil case to happen, you have to have standing. It means you have to be basically part of the class that was harmed by whatever action was taken. Otherwise, I could just go sue somebody for anything bad they did, even if it didn't harm me, and it would clog up the court system. Like, yeah, you have to prove that you have standing. He doesn't even probably fucking have that like level of understanding of what standing means. So he's like, oh, this horrible thing called standing. It's why they wouldn't let me sue everybody over the election. And it's like, well, all right, dude. I mean, whatever you say, my dude. Whatever you say, my dude. So here's Cocaine Don Jr. Talking about how his pillow phone saga is actually like a threat to the Republic.
Can't let this happen. Take back America. And folks, honestly, I don't think he's wrong. Okay, I'll have to say I don't think, because the same people that are all for the weaponization of this will say that I somehow created a fact check error. So I'm just repeating what he said, and not going to disagree. Certainly feels that way to me, because feelings matter more than, anything else, right? So let's just make that clear. We're just playing by their rules. But guys, this is some sick stuff, and this shouldn't be happening in the United States of America. This shouldn't be happening in any country. And if it was happening somewhere else, I guarantee you the people who are quiet and silent on it right now would be really loud. But you know what? It's an arrest of convenience. It's a seizing of convenience. It's a narrative of convenience. Let's take them out and make sure that no one ever has the guts to stand up to the dictators again. That's all it is, folks. At least to me.
Step 1, take the pillow guy's phone. Step 3, tyranny. Can't fucking... These people have lost their fucking minds. We got more on Mike Pillow's phone, but I think we got just one more on Mike Pillow's phone, and then we're going to have to move on to some other crazy thing. This is going to be Tucker Carlson talking about what happened to Mike Pillow and his phone. Because, of course, Tucker Carlson has, some ideas about this.
This is a Fox News alert, and a shocking one. We told you last night that the Biden administration has politicized law enforcement to the point where it feels Soviet, and we were not overstating it. The FBI has just raided the guy who sells pillows on this channel, not because...
But I thought he had a conversation with him in his car, and then they surrounded him while he was getting a fucking burger at Hardee's.
Pillows were bad, but because they don't like who we voted for. Matt Finn is tracking the developments in that story tonight. Matt?
but that he wasn't raided. Even he said he wasn't raided. He said that first that he had a conversation with them while he was driving, and then he decided to pull over. And then he said that they surrounded him at Hardee's. So none of that is a raid. He was not raided by the FBI. They just like found him somewhere and were like, hey, we have this warrant here. We have a warrant to like search the contents of your phone. I bet this guy doesn't even have a lock screen on his phone. He doesn't even have like a 4-digit passcode on his phone. You probably just swipe the phone and it just opens. This guy clearly doesn't know what he's doing. Clearly has, no real understanding of technology. He doesn't even have a computer to run his business. Although I think he probably does have a computer. So up next we got Trump. He's on the Hugh Hewitt show, and he's going to talk about what's going to happen if Donald were to be indicted.
You know the old saying, prosecutor can indict a ham sandwich if they want to. I'm just asking, if there is such a prosecutor and they indict you, would that deter you from running for president again?
I don't think the people of the United States would stand for it. And as you know, if a thing like that happened, I would have no prohibition against running. You know that. You've already.
I do, and that's what I want people to understand. That would not take you out of the arena.
It would not. But I think if it happened, I think you'd have problems in this country, the likes of which perhaps we've never seen before. I don't think the people of the United States would stand for it.
What kind of problems, Mr. President?
I think they'd have big problems. Big problems. I just don't think they'd stand for it. They will not sit still and stand for this ultimate of hoaxes.
I mean, I think that if he's indicted, we won't see like big street protests, because those only really happen in the cities where the population's dense, and the places where the population is dense did not vote for Trump, do not like him, and probably would be like, on balance, glad he got indicted. So what we'd probably be looking at is some kind of fucking nasty like lone wolf attacks and whatnot. I hope that doesn't happen though. If he were to be indicted or whatever, I would hope that maybe cooler heads would prevail, but that's the craziest thing I'm going to say on this show for a while, because this is America and cooler heads do not prevail here ever at all. A lot of people were saying that's a threat. I don't think that rises even close to like the standard for incitement. I don't think it rises even close to that. It's irresponsible though. He could, I don't know, he should have just left it at, if I'm under indictment, I can still run. It makes an interesting legal challenge, though. Let's say he's indicted, right? And then he runs, and then he were to win. Would they just throw out the indictment because he won the presidency? And if they did that, what does that say about the rule of law and how powerful people are treated differently than regular people? Because there's nothing in the Constitution and nothing on the law books that says that the president can't be arrested or investigated for a crime. It's just some kind of weird fucking tradition we have. But I feel like if you're the president and you're out there criming, you should be arrested. You're the president. That should come with like a big responsibility to not crime. I feel like that doesn't. I don't feel like that's like a big. I don't feel like it's a big ask if you're the president. Hey, while you're the president, or could you not crime? Could you not do the criming? But, we live in a crazy fucking country. So here's a senator. His name is Eric Tarr of West Virginia, and he's going to talk about an abortion law in West Virginia. And this is going to be one of the wilder things you hear tonight on this show. And we have some Madison Star Moon and Red Light.
This bill will pass. It'll save lives, but it does it at the sacrifice of others. And, I've heard arguments, if you got a burning building and you can save almost all the children, but not all of them, would you do it? I'd burn the building.
What?
I've heard arguments, if you got a burning building and you can save almost all the children, but not all of them, would you do it? I'd burn the building.
He's like, I'd actually just make the fire worse.
West Virginians for Life, they're going to score this vote. And when they score it, when I vote no on this bill, they'll score that vote no as a vote against life. They've got it wrong.
Well, you just said that
West
you would
Virginians
light a
want-
building on fire or something if there were children in there and you couldn't save them all. So I'm going to say that you're against life.
Life is stopping at 8 and 14 weeks. I'm astounded that we have.
I'm astounded too.
So I thank God for the children that are going to be saved for this. I pray to God for forgiveness for the ones we don't, when we could have.
I mean, after that shit that you said about burning the building down because you weren't able to save all the children, if you believed in a God, you probably should ask for forgiveness because you said that shit on the floor of a government body. Yeah. If you're a religious person, maybe that is something you need to beg for forgiveness for. Holy crap, man. Holy crap. That was wild. And yeah, it was just like I don't think it wasn't like a great metaphor. I don't know if he thought it was even a metaphor or if he was like thinking about what he was saying when he said it, if he meant to say something else. I have no idea, but he just said that like why would that be the appropriate response if you can't save all the kids in the building? Just light it on fire? Fool, it's already on fire. And lighting that building more on fire is arson. And in that case, murder, because you know there's kids in there that can't be saved. Well, here's Lindsey Graham. I'm going to talk about how he did a little bit of a Lighten the Loafers 180 on whether or not the Supreme Court ruling on abortion would turn it into a states' rights issue.
You stated that the repeal of Roe v. Wade would mean that every state will decide if abortion is legal and on what terms. And you said that that was the most constitutionally sound way of dealing with the issue. And here you are introducing a nationwide 15-week limit. I'm wondering how you square those two statements.
Pretty easy. After they introduced the bill to define who they are, I thought it'd be nice to introduce a bill to define who we are.
So you just like went back on the thing that you said. That's it. I mean, it's fine. Whatever. Everybody's a hypocrite about something. So it's not the end of the world, but he just like, whatever. Lindsey Graham is not a serious person. Remember all that shit Donald Trump said about him? And after Donald Trump won the primary, Lindsey Graham started kissing Donald Trump's ass. So I believe the next one is Lauren Boebert. We've got a couple Lauren Boeberts here. This one is basically you're all going to die, but it's going to be fantastic.
As you see the end draw near, we know that we are in the last of the last days, but it's not a time to complain about it. It's not a time to get upset about it. This is a time to know that you were called to be a part of these last days. You get to have a role in ushering in the second coming of Jesus. How cool is that?
We're all going to die. It's going to be great. Holy crap. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? How is this good? It's like they call it the end times. You gotta look my best for the end times, I guess. And here's appears to be Lauren Boebert from the same speech. She's clearly a Bible expert. She's certainly read the Bible and understands every word in it.
And then all hell broke loose. Rampant, evil, grabbing and grasping, vicious, backstabbing. They made life hell on earth with their envy, wonton killing. I don't know what a wonton killing is.
I do. I've had some soup that I just fucking annihilated. That's what a wonton killing is.
I'm gonna have to look that one up. But it sounds interesting, and I don't think I want to be a part of it.
It depends on how good the wontons are. I will absolutely kill some wontons. I hope you would too. Wontons are good. It's wanton killing. God. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. These people are in charge of our country, Americans. I know there's a lot of people who listen to this podcast and watch the live show who aren't Americans. And you probably have your own problems, but I don't know if any of you guys have Lauren Boebert kind of problems. Speaking of people who run this country who are a problem, and up next we got Marjorie Taylor Greene. After her speech at the Trump rally, she's taking an interview with the Real America's Voice people, and it's a Christian revival, y'all.
That we're seeing like a resurgence. It's like a revival, Ben. Amen. It's really a Christian revival in so many ways. Yeah. And that's what I want to see. I want to see the church in America come to life and save this country because the church in America is the American people. Our Constitution was founded by Christian men, God-fearing men who knew the right things to do, and they gave up their lives, their honor, their fortunes for our great country. And that's what we need people to remember. People need to remember that. And
well, your side's losing. Religiosity in America is on a downward trend. So I don't know about the founding fathers or whatever, but they dead. And young people every generation is less religious than the generation before. And it's probably because of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who are like wearing their religion on their sleeve the way they are and saying all these horrible things about people of different faiths, people of no faith at all, calling people that just disagree with them like demons and shit. I figure if you grow up in that world, maybe you're more and more people over time, as we learn more and more about the physical world, might be less inclined to want to follow a religion when you got all these wackadoodles out there saying these kind of things about, their neighbors, their friends, their brothers, their sisters, their cousins. But I mean, that's just my opinion. We don't really know. We don't really know why people are becoming less religious, but I think it's generally good for the country. I think secularism is better. The less religious countries on the planet seem to be doing better than the more religious countries, especially in the 21st century. So up next, we got Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie the Gathering on the House floor. She's going to talk about the executive branch, pirate ships, and the walls of the pirate ships.
She wants. The Democrats want to pass this bill to empower Democrat operatives, people that they've hired, people that they put in their administrations. They want to make sure those Democrat operatives are there to be able to undermine the next Republican president of the United States. That should not be a federal law. And as a business owner, I'm telling you, it's so important to be able to fire people in your company that aren't doing a good job. And it should be no different for any president. The executive branch must be able to have people working there that can be terminated.
But they do. You can get fired from the executive branch. The president fires you, or your direct superior fires you.
Everyone knows the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, and on the Black Pearl, it's the second one, it has pirates on the ship that become part of the ship walls. Effectively, that's what H.R. 302 is doing. Preventing a Patronage System Act will make employees in the executive branch just that, part of the building walls, making it impossible to get rid of them. So for this reason, I oppose this bill, and I urge my colleagues to vote against it, and I yield back the balance of my time.
So I don't know what this bill is about, but it's probably some kind of like you have to be fired for cause thing or whatever, if I had to guess based on what she was saying. And I mean, whatever. I think that like if the president wants you gone, if you're in the executive branch, I'm pretty sure they just fire you. Or I'm sorry, you tender your resignation to spend more time with your family. Here's Marjorie the Gathering. This is her being a treason understander. And she deleted this video from her own Facebook page. But you know how the internet is. People grab stuff and things don't ever really get deleted.
She's a traitor to our country. She's guilty of treason. She took an oath to protect American citizens and uphold our laws. And she gives aid and comfort to our enemies who illegally invade our land. That's what treason is. Exactly. And by our law, representatives and senators can be kicked out and no longer serve in our government. And it's a crime punishable by death, is what treason is. Nancy Pelosi is guilty of treason, and we want her out of our government. She's held her seat of power for 32 years. She's 78 years old. She is dying in Congress. We are fed up with these corrupt politicians that hang on to their power just to make themselves rich.
So if you think somebody's guilty of treason or whatever, that's fine. But like, she's essentially calling for the execution of one of her colleagues there. If you listen, you don't have to listen very carefully. She just called for the government to execute one of her colleagues because she doesn't like the policy stuff that she's putting forth, I guess. Seems bad. Seems like maybe an irresponsible thing for a public figure to be doing. This was brought back to my attention. This is a bit of an oldie but a goodie, and we got basically 3 palate cleansers right in a row here, and I figure we need them. This first one is, what if Jesus was a modern-day Republican?
Truly I say unto you, whoever welcomes one of these little ones in my name might be letting in a murderer or a drug. Let's get her to a detention center. You know, so we can figure out what's going on. I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. And behold, now I'm all lazy and entitled. You shouldn't have done that. Do unto others as you suspect they might want to do unto you. What is a man profited if he gain the whole world but lose his soul? A lot. He has profited a lot. One soul for the whole world, that is an amazing deal. Why do you look at the speck of dust in your brother's eye, but ignore the plank in your own? Because of her emails. Yes. If a man strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him and shoot him. That is the law. If you want to be perfect, go. Sell all the possessions that you have and give the money to a solid mutual fund. By this, they will know that you are my disciples. That you say, Merry Christmas! Christ! Christmas! That's my name in there, and I put it in there because I wanted it in there so we could all celebrate Big Boy Jesus' birthday time! Okay? Okay.
Rabbi, surely you can heal me.
My child, of course I could. But who would pay for it?
What? I don't understand. I don't have any money.
Yes, it is a sad story, but it does not make me responsible. It is super duper easy for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. The richer, the better, really. Maybe get a solid gold house, just to be sure. Love your neighbor as yourself. Unless you are better than your neighbor, then tell them that they're weird, and you do not want to bake them a cake. You have heard it said, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say to you, any man who looks upon a woman with lust in his heart should go ahead and do what he's got to do.
Lord, your followers grow hungry, and we have only this fish and bread.
Oh, sweet.
I think I'd seen that before, but I didn't remember the part at the end where he like ran off with the fish and bread. That was so funny. I think Allie Drew put that in the Discord, and I was like, okay, we got to run this. So up next, we got, these are the dopest beats, the absolute dopest beats. This appears to be a candidate for office somewhere in the United States, and I'm just telling you, you ain't got flows like this.
Hey, Utah District 12, listen up right here. There's a new name on the ballot for the Senate this year. My name is Linda Paulson, Republican and awesome. Love God and family and the Constitution. I tried to get another conservative to run. Nobody could do it, so I'm getting it done. I'm pro-religious freedom, pro-life, pro-police, the right to bear arms and the right to free speech. I want less government control and regulation, want to stop and expose all political corruption where there's integrity, morality, accountability. Government programs should lead to self-sufficiency and support traditional family as the fundamental unit of society. But in schools, they're pushing for new beliefs. And just to clarify this, because there's some who can't define this, as a female adult, I know what a woman is.
Oh, she played the hits. That was the dopest beats, everybody. I feel like, I don't know, other rappers need to look out. I don't even know why she's running for office. She should definitely go into the hip hop industry. I feel like she would do quite well there. But also there's like kind of something self-aware about that, right? Like she has to know that she's not like a good rapper, right? So there is something kind of funny about that. Like at least the lady has a fucking sense of humor. So here's our palate cleanser. This is weird. I think this is in Brooklyn or maybe the Bronx or something. This is just something. This is like an experience you're only going to have if you live in a city.
Hey, I bet y'all headed from 6,000. What's up? One shot from 6,000. Where you gonna head it at? Where? Right here. Where you throwing? Where? Over the hoop. Oh, I want to see this. Hold up. Let me see. Let me see this. Oh my God!
No, don't run it out into traffic though, dude. I mean, it was all kind of wholesome until the guy ran out into traffic. And then it was like, why are you running out into traffic after you just made that amazing shot? Like, don't go almost die running out into traffic. Christ. That was pretty funny though. We needed that and the hip hop one. I feel like we wouldn't have made it through the rest of this podcast without those two clips. So here we go. We got Trump's lawyer is now like a correspondent for the Right Side Broadcasting Network. Maybe she's no longer Trump's lawyer, but here's a video clip of her talking. This lady's shown up at a lot of QAnon events. You'll recognize her as soon as I bring up the video here. And she's gonna talk about being a January 6th defendant, apparently.
I served the Air Force for 21 years. I'm a January 6th defendant. Can we say that? And I wrote a poem called We're Ready to Fight. I have a copy I'll give to you.
Oh, that sounds great. You look fantastic. What prompted the outfit?
I started this after the election was stolen. I actually had bought it as a Halloween costume. And I was in Arizona doing a Patriot party out there. And my costume was in Abilene, Texas. So I was like, I need to find a reason to wear it. So the first time I wore it was November of 2021 and a MAGA car rally, and then it just became a thing, and now I wear it to all the events.
Well, it is great. You look fantastic. It's energizing. I think people are excited.
Like the red carpet.
Over here to Brian, who's got an announcement to make.
So that lady's got a car with like a giant Q on it and shit. She is like deep. She is like incredibly pilled. We've definitely seen her before. So we have to skip ahead a little bit here because there's a lot of stuff on this week's docket, as we always do on Sunday. We definitely don't get to all the stories, but we got more discourse about the WAP song. This time it is from one Mr. Tucker Carlson.
Talking about the female pedenda. But Hillary Clinton likes to talk about that. We're not going to speculate as to why. And so she does. And she did it recently in her brand new TV show called Gutsy, which is an amazing cliche fest. And of course, she immediately zeroed in on the one thing you really don't want to hear too much about, which is some rap queen singing about her genitals. But here's Hillary.
That song slaps, though. That wet ass. Oh, that song slaps.
Clinton complimenting the rap.
I'm not really into like modern hip hop either.
One of the creepiest things ever recorded. Watch this.
Chelsea follows rap music. She has ever since she was a little.
Oh my God, that's so. Dude, Hillary Clinton. This is the only cool thing she's ever done. Like at least in the recent times, she is in fact painting with the lady that inspired such wonderful sound bites as this one. Oops.
There's some whores in this house.
Like, that's the coolest thing Hillary Clinton's ever done.
Came to awareness of you with the Cardi B WAP.
The men, they seem so confident in what they're saying, and they don't have no problem with talking about their sexuality and how they're going to have sex with you. So I was like, well, I could do that, and it's going to sound fire coming from a woman.
It's great to see women be so kind of fierce.
Yeah, it's great. The concern here, of course, is that Hillary and Chelsea Clinton are complimenting that woman for talking in public about her sexuality. There's a very short hop from that to Hillary Clinton and Chelsea Clinton talking about their sexuality. And America, frankly, can't can't handle that. We're not strong enough right now. So let's hope it never.
No, they can actually. Everybody can talk about their sexuality and the sex they have. It's just that Tucker can't handle it. Tucker, you know, he maybe has the same problem little tiny dancer Ben has. Maybe that's what's going on here. I don't know. So in more news about how this nation has become, people in this nation are trying to make it more puritanical, which I thought we were headed the other way. I really did. Here is a woman went to the beach and was arrested for nudity, except the problem is I'm able to show the video of her on Twitch, so she's clearly not nude.
Why is it illegal to have a bikini on the beach?
I literally wear this to the beach
I want us
every
to
day.
show you. We're going to show you. Absolutely. It shall be unlawful for any person appearing in the nude on any public beach access to the public waters or any public property in the view of the public.
I'm not nude.
So nobody's nude. There's nobody nude right now.
I'm not nude.
You're in a thong.
The thong is not
thong
nude.
is not nude. All right.
Yeah, we're able to show this on Twitch.
Not nude. I asked him to show me where it says like he's wearing a thong. He said no.
Poor woman.
He wouldn't show me, and I said, okay, then we're done here. And then he put me in cuffs immediately.
Like, who the fuck's idea was that? They're like, she's just wearing a fucking swimsuit. Maybe some people don't like thongs or whatever, but that's not. She wasn't nude. Like, what the fuck? Hopefully, like, I guess she was talking to like the supervisor or whatever. Hopefully, like, somebody in that chain of command was like, okay, this is fucking stupid. Like, we can't possibly arrest this person for this. So up next we got this guy's named Jesse Kelly. I don't know who he is. He works for some place. Anyway, he's going to talk about the Third Reich and LGBTQ degeneracy. This ought to be great, right?
Dr. Jesse, not sure if you've covered this on your show before, but do you see any similarities between today's American/Western civilization and Weimar Germany? My name is Ryan. Says I can feel free to say it. Well, yes, because there's a part of Weimar Germany that people don't know about. Most people don't know about. Here's what most people do know. Let's cover what most people do know. They know that in the wake of World War I, the whole world decided to blame it all on Germany. World War I was not Germany's fault. Now, it's not that it's not Germany's fault, but everyone was at fault for World War I. There wasn't some good guy or bad guy in World War I. It was just a horrible affair. But because Germany lost, courtesy of Woodrow Wilson and others, they decided to dump all the blame on Germany. They not only put these horrific war reparations on them. Hey, you need to pay us this much money, which was an absurd amount of money. They also took critical parts of their economy, parts of their country, and they took them away. So it would be like if you work construction, me telling you, hey, I expect you to pay me $100 a day, and I'm cutting off your left arm. So not only do you owe me money, now you can't work the way you worked. That was what it was like. People know that. And from that, they started mass printing of money. Not that could happen here. From that, you got hyperinflation. And eventually, all of a sudden, this dirtball named Adolf Hitler arose who hated Jews. But people forget about something else that was a key part of the rise of the Nazis in Germany. People know what I just told you there. Most people know that the high points of history of the Weimar Republic. Do you know that part of the Weimar Republic was social degeneracy Europe had never seen before? Do you know the whole LGBTQ thing? Do you know that was going wild in places like Berlin at this time? And do you know that there were so many Germans, Jew hatred or not, so many Germans who were willing to accept anything to make that degeneracy stop? They wanted it stopped. This is actually part, I'm glad you brought this up. This is part of why I've been warning time and time and time again, not cheering for, warning, There is a right-wing dictator of some kind coming. Please, God, don't let it be Hitler. But there is one coming. You guys can enjoy all this, whoop it up all you want with your pink feather boas on, and put on the drag shows for little kids. And
what the fuck?
Cut the penises off of teenage boys all you want. Have a good time with.
Oh no. That's fucking enough of this. I'm sorry. That's enough of this. I don't think we really need to hear any more of that. We kind of heard what that guy was saying. He was basically blaming people being openly queer in cities like Berlin for the Holocaust because people were like, well, we're willing to accept anything because we don't like gay people. And that's fucking insanity. It's complete fucking insanity. I can't believe we just watched that. On to something else stupid, but probably less infuriating. We got Dennis Prager versus fifth graders.
Where is my favorite sign? Yeah, no, that's not it. Damn, I threw it away. That school sign that I saw, schoolroom sign that I saw in the New York Times. The world is better because you are in it. I don't know what grade it was. I assume something like 5th grade. What a stupid message. Plus, it's not true. What has any 5th grader done to have made the world better because he or she is in it?
What the fuck? Dude, come on, man. Like, what are you doing? 5th graders didn't do anything to you.
Boy, again, as I pointed out, it's the opposite of the way many of us were raised. If my father had said to me, you know, Dennis, the world is better because you are in it, I would have believed that even though he was never drunk, that he was actually drunk.
Well, you sure showed those 5th graders, Dennis. My fuck, what the fuck? Like, why did he decide to fill some of his, I mean, Dennis Prager's an idiot, but that's like out there. That's like the next level of stupidity. Don't worry though, the next thing we're going to watch is actually stupider. And no, it's not Stu Peters, but it's actually much dumber. This is Matt Walsh talking about mermaid science.
All right, Max Winter says, a black actor playing the Little Mermaid really is a case of white erasure. All forms of art, including fairy tales, are meant to be reflections of the author's experiences and observations. Hans Christian Andersen probably based The Little Mermaid based on experiences he went through in his home country of Denmark, so it makes sense that most of his characters would be white, since that's the world and the people he was surrounded by. Yeah, I'm given the way that we deal with these sorts of issues, I'm sympathetic to that. Now, I would be fine, like we talked about yesterday. We don't have to rehash the entire thing, but if we all agreed that race in films and TV shows, especially fictional stories, don't matter, and we're going to take a kind of colorblind casting approach, and it doesn't matter as long as the actor is good. If we could all agree on that, then I'd be on board. And as I said,
but it's not for us to all agree on. It's whoever owns the intellectual property and makes the fucking movie, dude. It's not for you to agree on or me to agree on. Like, I'm not even into movies and TV that much, but I know that like it's just not even my decision. It has nothing to do with me.
That's basically what it was for many years. What it was back in the 90s. But what I cannot abide by is the double standard thing where we say, well, the casting, the race in casting matters only for certain races and not for others. No, we're not doing that. Also, by the way, with The Little Mermaid, can we also just mention that just from a scientific perspective, okay, it doesn't make a lot of sense to have someone with darker skin who lives deep in the ocean. I mean, if anything, not only should the Little Mermaid be pale, she should actually be translucent. If you look at deep sea creatures, they're like translucent. They have no kind of pigmentation whatsoever. And they're just like these horrifying, they look like skeletons floating around in the ocean. That's what the Little Mermaid should look like. She should be totally pale and skeletal, where you can see her skull through her face. And that would actually be a version of Little Mermaid that I would watch.
Oh, man. What an absolute dumb fuck this guy is. Like, We have to have a scientifically accurate Little Mermaid, and by that, it should look like a fucking squid, actually, not like a mermaid. Dude, it's just a fucking black actor playing the Little Mermaid. And people came after me a little bit about this, but the Little Mermaid is a movie mostly targeted at little girls. That's who the primary audience for the Little Mermaid is. Are other people going to watch it? Sure. Now that all this happened, I bet a lot of other people are going to watch it. Holy shit, man. All right, up next. Oh, no. We got Candace Owens explaining pornography to Ben Shapiro. And I haven't watched this, but I bet it's just fucking amazing.
Conversation that I was having with my husband about pornography. My husband completely abstains from social media. And if you ask him, he just casually says, because it's all pornography. And he's talking about Instagram, he's talking about Facebook, he's talking about opening up a page and looking at the Daily Mail. But we've become so desensitized to it. So when I'm on Instagram, I don't even pay attention to the fact that actually, yeah, no, there's just nothing but butts and people's tits on the internet at all times. But we've become increasingly
kitties and boobs
saying that this is okay. And so I wanted to have that discussion about pornography. I was listening to a Catholic podcast, and they were talking about how even the seeds that are being planted on porn websites, which I did visit yesterday, are all incestuous. And of course, it brought.
What were you doing looking at she just told us what kind of porn she likes, actually. I'm, you know, I mean, you go on with your bad self, I guess. Well, while we're on the subject of things that should make you very uncomfortable, here's Chris Rufo talking about, and I'm not kidding, he's going to talk about ugly little girls.
You look at the images of predominantly most of these young girls. This is not health. This is not beauty. This is not happiness. And I always think of my own Italian grandmother and then her kind of siblings, that generation. If they saw this, their instinctual reaction, informed not by book learning, my grandmother had a 5th grade education, but by tradition, by kind of human nature, by a rational a look at this, they would say, this is ugliness. This is demonic. This is something that is bad, that should be really rejected. And we've lost that basic common sense where you see a woman, or young girl rather, who is looking unwell, who is looking ill, who is looking ugly. And we are actually required not just to suppress those feelings, but to actually affirm that person, to say, this is great, this is good, this is transgressive, this is your identity, we have to celebrate it. And so we have a culture, unfortunately, where what we need to do is just simply tell the truth. And to start to push back and break those bubbles.
You're hitting on a really deep theme that underlies so much of this, which is the hatred of the beautiful and the elevation of the ugly and grotesque. What is that? And
so what we need to do, a little girl looks too skinny or whatever, what you need to do is be like, okay, Uggo. Or if a little girl, maybe I don't know, you shouldn't even be like, what? I don't even know why I'm saying this. I feel fucking gross even talking about this, right? Like, these are the same people that are calling everybody a bunch of child abusers and shit too. And they're here sitting there commenting on like how a little girl looks. All these people have been talking about how a little girl looks all week. I know the actor who plays the Little Mermaid is a woman. But they're just all like, I'm a little bit fucking uncomfortable. I got a couple more. We're going to run a little long on the pod this evening, but not super long. I got a couple more here. We got Dave Rubin making sure you understand that you could value a monarchy.
Okay, so first off, she doesn't even know if it's a he or a she. Like, she just doesn't know what she's talking about. She's unprepared, and everyone's the worst of all things. And that, like, who is she? Glibly, yes. It's just that the British Empire was just thieving and raping and genocidal. And it's like, you know what? There were literally millions of messages sent from some of those places that people would say the UK dominated and destroyed, and, you know, all of those things, say India, say parts of Africa, in support of the Queen. It's not to defend the empire, and it's not to defend people going outside of their borders and imposing their wills on people and any of those things. This was a woman This is a woman who lived with really incredible dignity her entire life, who was not supposed to be queen at the age that she became it. I mean, it's an absolutely incredible story, the abdication of the throne and her stepping into these responsibilities, and she lived with grace and decency. And we can all talk about whether a monarchy is worth it or not. And in some ways, I think right now we're seeing proof that monarchies have some value because they last over time instead of just the crazed sort of politicking of the day.
Wait, what?
But okay, putting all of that aside.
Wait, what? They last a long time, whether you like it or not, if you're a citizen under the monarchy, if 90% of the people wish someone else is in charge, well, at least it's consistent. Like, what? Oh, no. I think they're going to be trying to make Trump the fucking king. I think that's like their next move or some shit. Like, what the fuck? There's some value to monarchy. I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. Maybe she was a nice old lady. I don't know. The way that fucking monarchy treated any commoner that any of the men dated wasn't great. And as the matriarch of that family, that queen oversaw all of that and didn't say fucking shit about it. Also, not for nothing, Andrew. You didn't have much to say about Andrew, did you? Did you, Queenie? So I got one more, but it's a grouping of clips. Jordy Pete is going to speak with Helen Joyce. If you don't know who Helen Joyce is, she is a raging transphobe, and they're going to, exchange recipes or something like that. Here's the first clip.
Absolutely. And two things that you notice when you look at these people are, one, what they're seeing when they look in the mirror is not what you're seeing. They're
what I would hope that what I see when I look in the mirror is different than what other people see when they look in the mirror. But I don't think that's what she means.
They're seeing a fantasy. They're seeing a fantastic version of themselves. But you, who are not in love with this idea of the feminine version of this man, you're seeing something a lot less flattering. And that's very hurtful to them. That's experienced, I think, as a psychic insult. That, because it's like being flipped out of the fantasy. Like if you're in this beautiful fantasy and then someone laughs or someone calls you he, and then that's narcissistic rage is what you see as the response to
that's
that.
Right. That's right. It's narcissistic rage at, in many ways, the same level that you'd see in a thwarted 2-year-old.
Yes.
Wait, what? First of all, it's not a psychic insult. It's just an insult. There's nothing psychic about like the insult that someone feels about that. It's just an insult. Let me go back to Chris Rufo. Why don't you just call him an uggo? Fucking horrible person.
Kids that are well socialized and popular develop that ability between the age of 2 and 4.
Right.
And what they undergo this psychological transformation in identity. They go from a 2-year-old egocentrism. So the 2-year-old can only play a game with him or herself. They can't play a shared game. And so 2-year-olds can play in parallel, but they can't play a joint game. And that means that their identity, this is so important, their identity is purely subjectively defined. And they have temper tantrums if you interfere with that. But so what happens is between the age of 2 and 4, your identity moves from egocentric and subjectively defined to communal and negotiated. And now this idea that we have that your identity is only what you say it is appeals not only to, I suppose, the ideologues that are pushing it, but it also appeals to people who are developmentally stuck. And I mean this in the deepest sense, are stuck at a 2-year-old level of psychological development. And so it's possible on top of all this that we have an epidemic of narcissism that's being capitalized on by the woke ideologues who are also likely suffering from the same psychopathology.
That guy calling anyone else a narcissist is a fucking hilarious. I'm not trying to diagnose him with like a narcissistic personality disorder or whatever, because that's not really what I mean. But, I don't think he's talking to an audience full of academics or psychologists or whatever. He's talking to lay people. And when they think narcissism, they think of the same sort of layperson version of narcissism as you and I might use. And then just imagining that Jordan Peterson is using that language to describe anybody else is just kind of funny. We'll play one more clip of this and then we'll go on over into red light. This is just him getting real heavy into some kind of theory, I guess.
So one of the things you do in your book is you detail out a lot of sexual fetishes, tracing them back a couple of 100 years. So imagine that you're a hyper-masculine male. Imagine you're a little narcissistic in your masculinity. And let's say there's a part of your psyche that regards that as unbalanced. And so what happens is you start to have fantasies about the value of the contrasexual temperamental virtues. And those would be the feminine ones. But given that you're not very conceptually sophisticated, maybe the way that counterbalancing tendency manifests itself in you is in fantasies of being female, and that fantasies are so damn deep that they actually involve even the sexual impulse. So Carl Jung, who I think thought more deeply about this than anyone else, believed that as we move...
This idea that like certain people have thought really deeply about something and that makes them right is stupid. You're right about something if the evidence demonstrates that you're right, not because you've thought deeply about it.
Life that, and we expanded our personalities, that we would expand them beyond the confines of a rather stereotypical gender identity and incorporate the virtues of the sex that we weren't. So that, and then if that's forestalled by narcissism, let's say, or even by inability, then the proclivity to develop those contrasexual tendencies would start to manifest itself in the kinds of fantasies that you described as characteristic of the autogynephilic transsexuals.
What the fuck?
And so then if you think that narcissism is part of what's driving that, right? I'm pushing too hard in the direction that I'm going, and so these fantasies manifest in a compensatory way, that you get a perfect storm. And it's the narcissists who are doing this that insist upon subjective identity and who also, by the way, are perfectly willing to sacrifice children to their own purposes.
Oh, God. It went from, if you think deeply about something enough, you can be super right about it if I think you're right and I agree with you, to we're mutilating children. It went fucking blood libel. Just blood libel. That's all this is. They're doing another blood libel. It comes around every once in a while. Now it comes around in a different form every fucking 3 months or something, I guess. I don't know what else to say about that. And I guess I'm going to have to jettison all of you podcast listeners. You might want to check us out over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Echoplex Media. We're live 6 nights a week, every night but Monday. And Meltdown Monday will, in fact, make a triumphant return sometime soon. Check out all of our podcasts and check out our swag shop at eplex.store. And, of course, you can get the entire audio capture of this by signing up for our Patreon at patreon.com/Echoplex. I guess that was the show, and I'm sorry. I'll be back with Red Light.
You recall a goth DJs and Twitch witches are hanging out on Thursday for the bad VHS rips, unblinking eyes, and fire by night. Thetans and Satans comes from an interest in the cult of Scientology, moral panics, Satanism, and how they set the tone for the extremist social media panics of today. We really earn our Weird Left Twitch badge with this show, watching the world go red light in reverse every Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/EchoplexMedia. Find our full schedule at echoplexmedia.com.